When you push digital, things start to sound not good. And when you push this 5088, things, sound better. I haven't got to a point with the console yet where I had to back off, everything. And I really want to push the drums here. I want to really push this 808. I want to push the bass line. Everything's like, it does what I want to do. And it sounds amazing. Hi, I'm Joey Raia. I'm a mix engineer. This is my studio in Dobbs Ferry, New York. About a year ago, I got my 5088. Yeah, the sound of the Rupert Neve Designs 5088 was far superior than any of the other desks I was looking at. It really brought things to the next level for me. The type of music I work on is very aggressive, very low-end heavy, very punchy. And this console had everything I was looking for. I wanted to be able to, push the faders when I wanted to push it, not have to worry about things bottoming out, not having to worry about headroom. I just wanted to be in the zone, and mix. And this console did it for me. Some recent people I've worked with are Run the Jewels, LP. I have a Travis Barker song up on the 5088 right now. Also do work with Disney. Dwayne Jackson, Night Riots. Most people really know me for the Run the Jewels record and all the work I do with LP. I've been his longtime mixer for over a decade now. When I was looking for a console for the room, I had some criteria. I wanted an analog mix bus, analog summing. I also wanted faders. I also wanted recallability. And I also wanted it to sound amazing. A lot of, I've been through maybe all the external summing boxes that there are, and so many of them, it's one of those things where you'd flip back and forth between an in-the-box mix and the summing box, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I think it sounds a little better, and it's almost like, but as soon as I put a mix up, bust everything out into my 5088, and before I even started really getting into the mix and mixing more, I was like, oh my God, this console sounds amazing. I mean, everything sounds amazing, in a way that, if you're a mixer, you'll get it. You're like, oh, everything is just coming together. And then you could really go in and really finish your mix the way you want to. Part of the idea when I built this mix room was to get away from the screen, to get away from staring at a computer screen, having a mouse in my hand while I was mixing. And when I moved from the pre-mix stage, I call it, when I'm in Pro Tools and I'm kind of setting stuff up and doing any kind of corrective stuff and roughing stuff out, when I moved to the 58 to finish the mix, it's so much more of an enjoyable situation, and I find I could do things I want to do without thinking about things I would have had to think about if I was in the digital world. Gain staging is important, but when I was in the box and I wanted to push an 808 more, which is something I do a lot these days, that would require a bunch of other steps. To make room for that, I'd have to go in and do all of this tweaky work with the mouse and lower different things and stage things. And now, if I want to push the 808, I push the fader up. The 5088 could handle so much bass and it has so much headroom. I never have to think about anything but listening and doing what I want to do. The same thing with, the automation. When I'm listening back and I feel something needs to be written, I want to ride this vocal, I'll just, pick the automation mode I want, ride the vocal, done. It's a very organic process, and it's a very creative process. I find like I could do whatever I'm feeling can be done instantly. 5051, 5052 inductor EQ compressor and the EQ mic pre are amazing. Part of my main workflow that stays the same from session to session is I use the 8 buses on the 5088, and I use a pair of 5052s on the inserts on those groups. What I like about the 5052 is it has besides the EQ being amazing, and those final touch EQs I make on my main buses are always just, you know, the finishing touches, the icing on the cake with my mixes. And those 5052s also have the silk circuit. Dialing in those on my buses is great too. I just love just giving that that extra touch with the silk circuit. I'd say like most of my time now is spent in front of the console, actually listening and mixing, where before I was staring at the screen with the mouse in my hand. Now I'm in front of my 5088 and I'm mixing and making fader moves. It's so much more of an enjoyable process. Rupert, thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do to help us make records sound good and to make my job a lot more enjoyable.